Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. On this episode, we'll be revisiting with our friend, Mr. Chip Kohser from Elite Nutrition. We're going to be talking about some more products. If you want to know a little bit more about Chip and some of the other products that we've talked about on a previous episode, if you go back and check out episode 83 and 84, they're called the Elite Nutrition and Chip Kohser episodes as a part 1 and part 2. We go over a lot of the products that I got to use this past couple weekends ago with the Tidewater, and was able to have a good weekend with those. It's a lot of performance-packed products that I've been using that I've really fallen in love with. And I'm big on not promoting unless I truly believe in something, guys. So I know you're going to listen to this. A lot of people are going to listen to this and maybe go back and listen to the other one and be like, man, this sounds like a bunch of phony baloney. You're just preaching this because you're getting, your partners with them. But that's not it, guys. I'm not that kind of person. If I don't believe in something, I'm not going to promote it. So I've tried a lot of these products, and you'll hear me on this episode and the next episode. You'll hear me talk and say, like, man, I haven't tried that one yet. I got to try this one, And yeah, I'm upfront. I'm honest about it. And last weekend at the Tidewater, all of our dogs were able to strongly finish the hunt. As far as health wise goes, there was nobody that got down, nobody got scratched for loafing, nothing like that. I was very, very proud, and less than 7 days later, I ended up being able to run them again after 3 days of hard running. So, and that goes for both pens that they were at. So I've been very impressed. You'll hear me touch base on some of those products that we did use during the hunt in this episode. And then again, like I said, if you want to hear more about those products that I did use, go back and listen to 83 and 84 episode. And you'll hear a lot more about those, how to use them, what they're used for, and all the fine details. And I want to take a second to, and you'll hear in the commercial, if you listen to the episode, you'll hear it, but I just kind of want to remind everybody, if you go to CajunLights.com and enter the promo code HTElite10, you'll get 10% off of Elite products through Cajun Lights. So y'all be sure to go check that out. We're going to get right to this episode now. This is going to be another two-parter. This episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of your topical. You're going to finish off your food, the stuff that you put on your food for various different things, including tick-borne illnesses. And then we're going to talk about a lot of your topical treatments as for wounds and any kind of outside the body symptoms that could be going on. So, and then on the next episode, we'll touch base on it. We're going to dive into some of the puppy care, mama care. There's a lot of products they offer that are going to be supposed to be good for that. I'm very excited to have to get to try some of those. But before we do get into the episode, I almost forgot. How dare me. I'm going to start off, we'll do the motivational quote for the week, and that is, either you run the day or the day runs you. And that's from Jim Rohn. And then our scripture for the week is, when you go through deep water, I'll be with you. That's from Isaiah 43:2. Appreciate y'all listening, guys, so much, and I won't hold y'all up anymore. Let's get straight to the episode. All right, here we go. Drop the gate. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. The Hounds Tales podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply again for the 2025 season. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they're also houndsmen and women too. They test their products out in the field and really put them to the test. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply for their support not only for the podcast, but in the field trials across the country. When you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now let's get this episode started, guys. Thank y'all so much. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. On this episode, we are joined again by Mr. Chip Kohser. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing real good. And yourself?
Doing good, man. Just we got some rowdy little storms come through here just a little bit ago. I don't know if y'all been getting any weather up y'all's way or not.
It hasn't quit raining, and it certainly is not. I'm worried about frost still, which is way beyond what we should be worrying about frost. It's like
that's wild.
Cold. Yeah.
Normally, that's wild.
Like I haven't got my pool open, and normally this time of year I'm grumpy that I haven't got my pool open, but it hasn't. Right. I haven't missed a beat yet.
Yeah, we had the Tidewater last weekend, and Lord, I've it's the first time on Memorial Day weekend in years that I can remember bringing a sweatshirt and having to wear it at the hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. Just nuts.
It's global warming for you.
Yeah, right. Right. So, Mr. Kohser, you're a part of the Elite Nutrition group, and you're a big part of that organization. For those that missed the first episode, if you go back and listen to our first episode with Chip, you'll have a little bit more understanding of what that whole premise is and everything about him and Elite and his kind of background and how he got to where he is. So we won't take a whole lot of time on this one and waste a lot of time. We're going to jump right into this thing. We're going to start talking about some more products. I've been lucky enough to be able to use some of these products and really put them to the test. And I really gave, just before we get started into some of the products we haven't touched on already, I want to give a big shout out to the products I did use. Between the Ultraflex, the Essential Dog, the Tough Paw, and we'll talk about Tough Paw here in a little bit too. And the Electro Boost / Canine Punch. Those products got me through a whole 3-day with nothing else. I mean, they were just standout products that I was thoroughly impressed with how well the dogs held up with just running those products. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've had many big tests like that. And, they're not taken away from any other form of hunting, but that's an ultimate test right there. 3
absolutely.
Days straight in a row.
You guys and the guys that are hunting coyotes on the outside are probably, short of the sled dogs, are the biggest test for dogs, period, just because the number of miles that those dogs are running.
Right. I think we're normally averaging like 40 or 50,
mm-hmm.
somewhere around 35, 40, 45 miles a day, and you're doing that 3 days in a row. And, on those Elite products, man, the dogs are ready for day 4 when I got them back home the next day. So I was great. Thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. So let's jump right into this. The big one we're going to hit, and I think this is one of y'all's top sellers, if I'm thinking correctly, is there's a triple threat is what I like to call it. It's for the main purpose behind the triple threat is to treat Lyme's disease, to treat tick-borne illnesses. Yeah. And we'll kind of break these down one by one. So let's kind of start with, the 3 that you have to put together to treat the tick-borne illnesses is the Rebalance, the Happy Dog, and the Canine Guard.
The Happy Dog Plus. Make sure you specify
Happy Dog
that,
Plus.
We do have a Happy Dog too, yeah.
Correct.
Happy Dog Plus and the Canine Guard.
Great. So let's jump into this. Let's start off. We just talked about the Happy Dog Plus. Let's kind of talk about what the Happy Dog Plus is and what its role is in that fight against tick-borne illnesses.
So the Happy Dog Plus, that's our immune builder. That's the one that builds up the dog's immunity. So whenever they're going through that 90-day treatment, they don't feel like they're going, you know what I mean? Right. It builds up their immunity so you can still hunt with them. That's one of the big questions I get while I'm going through this treatment. Can I still run my dogs while they're on the treatment? And absolutely you can. Happy Dog Plus is a big part of that. There's no side effects to running them without the Happy Dog Plus. It's just the Happy Dog Plus kind of allows them to still somewhat be an effective dog because it's building up that dog's immunity while you're fighting away those bloodborne pathogens that are the tick-borne disease. Gotcha. Happy Dog Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about breeding in another episode, but that's another place where it gets used. But primarily for the tick-borne diseases. You want a 2-pound Happy Dog Plus, and it mixes 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. You just mix that right in with your dog food the entire 90-day cycle.
Gotcha. And that 1 ounce per 10 pounds seems to be really good just across the board. I think for the most part,
pretty much any of our top dresses, if you will, that's going to be 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food.
Right, all the like powdered products.
Yeah,
quote
it's very
unquote.
highly concentrated. It goes a lot of times. I mean, myself included. I'm like, how can that little bit do anything? It doesn't.
Right. It feels weird, like especially when you're mixing it into the 10 pounds and you're like shaking it up. You're like, there's no way this does.
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. But it does.
It don't feel like it. Yep. And I'm seeing, talk about it also helps with the recovery from worming. I see that is listed on the Elite website. I'm going back on the Elite's website while we're talking.
Anytime you got an upset gut or whatever, we talked. I can't remember what all we talked about, but the GI equalizer is going to be more of an instantaneous straighten out the gut. But as far as vaccine stress, worming stress, anytime it's going to straighten out that gut and help that good gut bacteria recover.
Right. And I noticed another thing on here, and this is a big one I hear, especially in this going into the winter and coming out of the winter months, is the cold and cough recovery. It's also a part of this Happy Dog
it's
Plus.
build up your immune system. So just like anything else, you have a better immune system, you're going to help yourself recover from whatever itches you might get.
And I got some in because I had a dog that was down for a little while, and I ordered some, and she bounced back. And I think it was a weird thing it was during our stretch of 2 weeks of rain, and she kind of tricked me. I thought she was down, and I ordered some, and she had bounced back by the time I got it in. Which I don't want people to listen to think that was wrong when I say that. It didn't take but a day or two to get in, but. Yeah. But anyway, so I finally got to open it this week after I got back from the hunt, and I tell you, it smells like a powdered milk is what it smells like. It has that texture, that feel like a powdered milk.
Yeah.
And I saw one of them. Is it the Happy Dog or was it the Guard that says something about watering it down? Putting a little bit of water on top of it to use.
The Happy Dog, when you're doing it for puppies, you can turn it into a paste, or we actually have it in a paste too.
Gotcha.
And I'll get into those protocols when we do the touch base on the breeding side. But it can be turned into a paste as well. And then, so the Lyme treatment, like you said, Happy Dog Plus, the kill part of that Lyme treatment, or tick-borne disease. I mean, we have a lot of Lyme up here in Pennsylvania. But it's going to work on your Ehrlichia. It's going to work on anaplasmosis. It's going to work on Rocky Mountain spotted fever. It's going to work on any of those tick-borne diseases. Is the rebalance. The rebalance is the kill part, and that's going to be 1 cc per 10 pound of dog weight twice a day for the 90 days. Our rebalance is great because it does. Not only is it the kill part on our tick-borne disease treatment, but you can use the rebalance for anything you would use an antibiotic for.
Okay.
I use it a lot on ear infections with my bird dogs because they're swimming all the time and they get all that moisture in there. They get yeast. You can use it for, our Recover is great as a wound spray. We'll touch on that in a second, but the rebalance is going to fight those infections from the inside out.
Gotcha.
It's the same as giving the dog an antibiotic, but you don't have to worry about bacteria resistance. So it's not like you're going to be creating superbugs. Again, ear infections, wounds. Heck, we use it for pneumonia on cattle.
No kidding. Okay.
You can use it, like I said, for anything you would use an antibiotic for. And what's nice is it's got a 2-year shelf life. It doesn't need refrigerated, and you don't need a script. As many of you guys know, antibiotics are becoming harder and harder to get. This is not one that you have to figure out a way to cheat the system to get when you need it. You can just always have it sitting on your shelf.
Right. And that has a really if you ever use the I had it in my head and I done lost it. Trying to think of the texture it kind of reminds you of. It's like a thick liquid, almost like a syrupy kind of deal is what it kind of feels like.
It's like melted peanut butter.
Yeah, pretty much. daggone it, there's another product that a lot of dog guys use, and I'm completely brain farting on the name of it right now. Do what? Dine. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Yep. It looks and feels and it smells almost exactly like it.
Yeah.
It's really, really similar as far as look goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way what you kind of right. Because when I opened, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect out of it, and that's exactly how it feels.
Like, if I'm just treating for ear infections, my dogs will lick it right out of a spoon. Now, with a syringe, it's a lot easier if you're doing it for 90 days just to get that dosing right. And just so you guys know, because you guys, you're running probably somewhere between 40 and 60-pound dogs. To get through that 90 days, one bottle will do 25-pound of dog weight for the 90 days.
Gotcha.
So if you got a 50-pound dog, you're going to need 2 bottles, or even a 40-pound, but save that extra, use it for an ear infection, whatever else you might need it for. But just so you know, like, one bottle is not going to get a 50-pound dog through 90 days. One bottle will do 25-pound of dog weight.
Gotcha.
And the third product in that treatment is your canine guard.
Yes, sir.
So the Rebalance does the killing.
The Hounds Tales podcast would like to take a minute and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. When pleasure running at night or judging those nighttime field trials, you can put your trust in Cajun Lights. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for the nighttime feeds and around the house times, then the top level Cajun Blinder for those hardcore crossing getters at night. The Cajun Lights are headlamp style light that free up your hands for voice recorders or your GPS. They offer flood style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light. Then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try, and the red and amber setting to catch the game without distracting them, and with the easy flick of a switch, go back to your main beam light to catch your hounds in action and get those numbers. Visit their website today at CajunLights.com, and at the checkout, make sure you fill out the survey after your purchase and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase with Cajun Lights. Now, let's get back to the episode.
The Happy Dog Plus builds up the immunity. The Canine Guard is like a detox. It's going to flush those toxins as they're dying out of the dog's system. And when we're doing this, we're getting about a 98% success rate on getting it gone permanently. Whereas with doxycycline, it knocks it into remission, but as soon as that dog gets stressed, it can, in this time of the year with the heat, those dogs get stressed real easy and it will come roaring back. This is going to get it gone permanently. That does not mean that you cannot get a new infection from another tick bite. But whatever your dog currently has will be gone. Again, the Canine Guard, it's that same 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. So you're going to need a 2-pound container of that. Canine Guard is also really good for hot spots, preventing hot spots, any kind of yeast. If your dog's constantly getting ear infections, the Rebalance will kill the ear infections. But if it's a chronic situation, the Canine Guard should eliminate that chronic situation and prevent them in the first place. Licking at their paws, any kind of allergies. A lot of guys, as soon as the allergy word comes up, everybody goes to food. And yes, there are food allergies.
Correct.
But sometimes it might not be the ingredient itself. It might be the glyphosate that is in that product from the residue from the farmer. Or it could be that your neighbor farmer just sprayed his fields yesterday. It could be that your Chemline guy came today. One of the biggest things that you can get allergies or hot spots is, and I preach this to the choir and people still don't use bleach to clean your kennels. If you can faintly smell it, it's going to drive your dog absolutely crazy. Oxine or something that's going to kill parvo. Antiviral, not bleach, because bleach is just an antibacterial. It's not going to take care of any of the viruses that might be in your kennel, and that
makes sense.
That smell is extremely pungent and toxic for a dog.
And can you imagine what it feels for the dog? The ones that can smell a scent.
That's what I mean. If you can smell it, they smell like 200 times better than we do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Now I see also on here for the Canine Guard it says a body conditioner. What is the thought behind the body conditioner? Like, what does that mean?
That's going to be hair coat.
Okay, that's what I figured.
And that's going to be that's going to be because of toxins that might be in their environment or in their food or whatever. But I can tell you, in most cases, I would say probably 80% of the cases that I'm dealing with dogs that have a perceived food allergy, we can get those people back to being able to feed what I call a normal dog food.
Yeah, right.
Using the Canine Guard without having to go get the
$80 a bag for a 20 bag,
or the prescription diets or whatever nonsense that might be.
Right, and I know for a lot of our guys, running coyotes all the time, we deal with, we call them coyote sores, but they're just a hot spot. This should be a home run for our guys that are running coyotes all the time. But I mean,
well, and that's one of the things too with hot spots. I get a lot of questions about hot spots. Hot spots, depending on the situation, depending on the part of the country, depending on that guy's impression, a hot spot can be, they all resemble the same thing.
Right.
But the cause of a hot spot can be a huge variety of things.
Yes.
And the big thing is with that Canine Guard, it's going to flush whatever toxins are in that animal system out of their system, which should prevent those hot spots in the first place.
Right. And you're so accurate, too, with that, because you watch somebody put a picture of a dog's leg on Facebook with little hot spots all over it. And what is this, and how do I get rid of it? And then you hear one person say, oh, that's protein sores. You need to do this, and this. And some people say, oh, that's coyote sores. Oh, that's this, and this. And there's 6,000 different remedies for it. So.
Yeah, exactly right.
But that'd be good, too. I don't know. I mean, at least in our area, I know I've noticed a huge, talk about the allergies again, when the farmers start cutting hay. And like you said, start fertilizing fields. You can really start seeing them eye boogers and then, a runny nose, that kind of stuff in a lot of the dogs when that stuff starts happening. And
let's go back and go through the Lyme treatment one more time, and then we'll get into the breathe, because that's what that breathe was created for.
Okay.
Specifically, is for those pollen allergies. So again,
absolutely.
The Lyme treatment is going to be your rebalance. That's 1 cc per 10 pound of dog weight twice a day for 90 days. The Canine Guard and the Happy Dog Plus, and both of those are going to be 1 ounce per 10 pound of dog food. And yes, you can hunt your dogs while you're on that treatment. Do not quit at 60 days when your dog starts looking like he's $100. I can tell you every single time that it has not been effective has been because a guy noticed his dog was feeling better and he quit. Now, one thing I will specify too, if you're fighting multiple diseases at a time though, because I get a lot of guys, they might be doing Lyme and anaplasmosis or Lyme and Ehrlichia or whatever, especially the guys that are doing a lot of traveling and they're getting into different varieties of ticks. Probably do that treatment for about 120 days if you got multiple that you're doing, because it's not that it's less effective, it's just we've got more to kill.
Gotcha. So that was a question I was going to ask. I'm glad you brought that back up. What is the whole idea behind the 90 days? I know a lot of guys are going to be listening and saying, well, why can't I just give it till they feel better? And then they're going to quit. I know how people are.
Why you don't give an antibiotic as soon as your nose quits, or quit taking the antibiotic when your nose quits ringing or running. Right. You're getting rid of symptoms because the dog's improving, but you're not in order to get rid of the disease, you need to treat till the disease is gone. And whenever we did our clinical trials and our protocols, that 90 days is right around where we were at.
Gotcha.
Of getting that success rate.
Gotcha. About like the wormer. I've always people will downgrade a wormer, but once they see that they're back to solid turds, they quit worming.
Yeah.
People don't realize that pretty much across the board, sometimes you'll have eggs in there, and then those eggs will rehatch and you'll get worms again in 2 weeks, or the next week or whatever. That's what I tell everybody is like, even this stuff, make sure you're worming like it says, 2 weeks, every other day for 2 weeks.
Let's just say somebody has a tumor. You remove the tumor, you go through a week of radiation and chemo. That doesn't mean that you quit doing the radiation and chemo because, you haven't gotten to the whole, you haven't gotten rid of it all. And then it's going to come back. And that's the same situation. We want to make sure that it's dead. And we have a great success rate at making sure it's dead. Just follow the protocols and we'll get rid of it. Otherwise, you're going to be griping that it doesn't work any better than Doxy. That's because you didn't follow the protocols.
Exactly. And then one last question on those products. I know a lot of my listeners in particular, the ones that are have been reaching out to me, they're going to be using the Essential Dog. They're going to be using the Active Dog or the EnduraFlex, Ultraflex. Is it okay to stack these items on top?
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. You're not going to have any issues whatsoever.
Gotcha.
The only thing I will say is you can stack them. It's not going to hurt them, but you could probably, on the Essential Dog, while you're on the treatment, you could probably quit doing the Essential Dog because you're getting the same probiotics out of the Happy Dog Plus. You're getting the Happy Dog Plus is a probiotic and a prebiotic like the Essential Dog, and it's got a MOS yeast in there, which is a natural binder that stops anything from being able to absorb through the intestinal walls. That's what's building up that immune system more so than just the Essential Dog. Now, if you're on the Essential Dog because you need that vitamin and mineral balance, because you're trying to improve a poorer quality of dog food, then don't quit. But if you're just using the Essential Dog because of the probiotics, you could probably get by without the Essential Dog while you're on that treatment.
Understood. Gotcha. Yeah, because that's,
But as far as stacking, you're not going to hurt yourself at all.
Perfect.
Yeah, and you can do pregnant females too, just because that's another question I get. None of that stuff that's in that treatment is going to be a negative for a pregnant female.
We're going to take a quick second and pause this episode and talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Our hounds, they're athletes, guys. They give us their all each and every time that they're casted. Elite Nutrition offers an all-natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits they deserve. From the canine remove and all-natural wormer to the Electro Boost paste for an electrolyte replenishment, body fluid balance, and blood flow improvement. They also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, and then the Canine Lactate Powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply. There are tons of other products for y'all to check out at CajunLights.com. Then click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore. When you go check out, only at CajunLights.com, use the code HTElite10 to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HTELITE, the number 10, to receive 10% off Elite Nutrition products only via CajunLights.com. I've been using their products over the past couple months, and I could not be happier with the results. See for yourself today, and we want to thank Elite Nutrition for taking a step forward into this field trial sport. Now, let's get back to the episode, guys. Understood. So we kind of touched on it there for a second with the allergies and the nasal drip and that kind of stuff. I see
we came out with the Breathe this past year. This is the first year that we've had it, and the reason we came out with it is we had that product on the human side, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it will from a sinus from allergies or a sinus. I mean, it will drain your nose in 15 minutes. It's phenomenal. But I was talking to a lot of guys that they were feeding their dogs Claritin and or Benadryl. And Benadryl I never understood. You get rid of the sip, but Benadryl makes me go to sleep. If you're trying to run your dog, why are we going to give them Benadryl? Claritin can have long-term side effects if you're giving that dog all the time. Our Breathe will not. And the other nice thing is our Breathe for the dogs comes in that paste. So it's real handy-dandy. You just shoot it down their throat. And it's intended for those gunky eyes, the runny noses, not necessarily the food allergies or the toxin, whenever you're running through a sprayed soybean field, but whenever you're dealing with, the same reason we get allergies in the spring or in the fall, it's going to help you deal with those types of allergies.
Gotcha. And is that designed more as a instant relief
Yes,
kind
like
of
you
product?
do it, or as a preventative. Like if you
Okay.
know you're going to be dropping and it's that time of the year, go ahead and
Yes. Yeah.
give it to them ahead of time, and it will open up their airwaves too. So if you are running hard, it's definitely going to help them breathe better too.
Nice.
In the racehorse world, a lot of those guys will use our Breathe horse product just to get more oxygen into the animal because they're breathing better.
Makes sense. Especially maybe like before, like you said, before a race or before cast or something like
Exactly
that.
right.
Give it a little time to work in. I like that. Interesting. I definitely, I might have to. I haven't got to experiment with that one yet, but we'll have to be giving that one a shot.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the other things we talked about. Well, I tell you what. One of the more topical products, I guess you could say. The thyroid. Let's talk about the thyroid there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have not had any, no,
that one is one that is not that same ratio. We pay attention to the dosage on the bottle of the thyroid. It is different. So
Gotcha.
the thyroid is intended, and it will heal a dog's thyroid.
Okay.
So if you've got a thyroid dog, my first thing I tell people, if you have a tick-borne disease, treat the tick-borne disease first, because the thyroid issue can be a symptom of the tick-borne diseases. But
makes
if you've
sense.
done that, that's out of your system. You still have a dog that is a thyroid dog.
Right.
Then our thyroid is intended to heal that thyroid. This
Gotcha.
is the one product that is not, like, I'm pretty confident in all of my products. This is the one product I'll flat out tell you it's not going to be 100% home run all the time, because depending on the dog's situation.
Gotcha.
If your dog's been on thyroid medications for a month or 2 months, it will heal that thyroid, and they'll be able to get off of the thyroid medication and off the thyroid. If your
Gotcha.
dog has been on thyroid medication for 6 years,
Right.
that thyroid medication
That's different.
Been artificially producing that thyroid fluid for that dog for a long period of time, that thyroid is probably dead.
Right.
Because the medication has been working in lieu of the thyroid for a long time. You're
That makes
probably
sense.
not going to bring it back. If you want to try, it's $59. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not going to, it's going to cost you a fortune.
Right.
But ultimately, if we've got a thyroid dog that you're on thyroid meds for a shorter, like a year or less, we should be able to wean them off the thyroid meds and then eventually off the thyroid altogether. Whenever we're doing the weaning process, we start on the thyroid, stay on your meds where they're at.
Yep.
2 weeks, second 2 weeks, back your medication in half. Third 2 weeks, you can go off the medication altogether and the thyroid, and then just finish out that container of the thyroid, and you should be good to go. Some cases it will take 2 containers of the thyroid to get it back to fully functioning. But
Right.
it is one that we have guys that swear it's a game changer for them, and they've been able to get their dogs off of thyroid meds. But it's not one that is going to work for every dog all the time, depending on the situation.
Right.
But
And that's, I think me and you had actually talked about this before too. It's not something that I don't really ever hear about it in the field trial, like the foxhound / coyote dog world. We don't ever really hear that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I didn't even know it was a big issue until I started listening to some of the coon.
Labradors are the biggest ones.
Yep. Coon dogs. Yep.
And there's a lot of theories why. I mean, I have a theory, and I don't know it's 100%, but you definitely have more prevalence of the tick-borne diseases. So we can take care of a lot of the thyroid issues by getting rid of the tick-borne diseases.
Right.
But my other theory is that in some cases, we've been line breeding pretty tight for 100 years.
True.
And in most cases, we were always breeding for positive traits. And there's a lot of guys that didn't know what a dang thyroid was until 10 years ago.
Right.
So you could have been you could have been stacking up on a thyroid, like on a negative genetic trait that whole time, not even knowing that it existed.
Not even knowing it. Right.
Right.
And something else I see in this, and I'm sure we'll kind of circle back later, later on this one
too, is with that, guys do not, especially in the coon hunting world, because of the money that is in it now.
Right.
Guys are less patient.
Makes sense.
They want to. They're more noticeable of their dog not performing right.
Right.
And two, our society today does not call bad dogs the way they used to either.
Right.
So
I know what you mean.
now you have a lot of dogs that wouldn't be around 20 years ago that are still.
Yes. Yep. The culling is a little different now.
Yeah, exactly right.
So something else.
There's less dogs running the roads of North Carolina and Virginia whenever they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Correct. Correct. So one thing that did stick out to me, and I think we'll kind of talk about this either later in this episode or in the next episode, whatever that ends up playing out. The female's not cycling property. I see that as labeled on the Elite website.
Yeah, that is one thing, and we'll touch base on that. But the thyroid is a product that will, again, your thyroid is the regulator for the dog's entire body. In our body, horse's body, whatever. It regulates the pancreas. It regulates the ovaries. It regulates the adrenaline glands. I can tell you one thing, because it seems to be that your world might pay attention to maybe some different tricks more so than other dog industries. I got a lot of pulling horse guys that swear giving the horse's thyroid 2 weeks beforehand will spike their adrenaline glands, and adrenaline is what makes grandma be able to pick up the car. You know,
right.
Electrolytes and hydration help her not to die of thirst, but it's not helping grandma pick up the car. So, you know, that's something if you guys want to play around with. I do have a lot of my horse guys will use that as a performance enhancer to kind of spike the adrenaline glands as well.
Interesting. May have to experiment with that a little bit there.
It is the whole body. So again, the way Mother Nature works. Yep. If that female is not in that optimum condition, he may or may not cycle, and even if she cycles, she may not catch because her body might not be fine-tuned enough that she's going to be able to carry that litter.
That makes sense.
That's where the thyroid will kind of get everything working optimally, not just the thyroid, but everything else in that dog's body, which will cause it to be able to cycle and catch.
The Hounds Tales podcast is happy to announce our newest partnership with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound to go on. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. And very soon we will be offering Hounds Tales podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. So be on the lookout for that coming up here soon. Thank you, Low 10 Outfitters, for teaming up with the Hounds Tales podcast. And don't forget, guys, low10outfitters.com to get your apparel for your kennels. Now, let's get you back to your episode. Makes sense. So let's kind of get. I think that's a lot of the the topical stuff. The topical stuff as far as putting on food. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
When we get into the wound care things.
Yep, that's exactly where I was getting ready to head to. So let's hit the All Ready first. Let's hit
All
that
Ready
one first.
is a spray. It's very inexpensive. I think it's $20 retail, and we're using it for superficial wounds. We're using it for ringworm. We're using it for ear mites, like where you can actually spray it in. We're going to use the Rebalance to treat the ear infections, but the already something we can use to clean out the ear, like the one that you put in the ear with the cotton swab or the whatever to clean out the ears if you're doing that. Works great on ringworm, any kind of funguses, but where I really sell a lot of this in the dog world is what I call soybean eyes. Whenever they're running through bean fields and they're getting their face all scratched up or whatever, you can spray it right in their eyeball. It's actually great for pink eye on cattle too. If you got any
no kidding.
cattle, I mean, you can spray it right on their eyeball and it takes care of pink eye. Whether it's pink eye can be caused from an actual bacteria, or pink eye can be caused from irritation too, and it will take care of both.
Gotcha.
The other thing that we'll use the All Ready for is in lieu of like a peroxide when we're cleaning out a deep wound, we're going to use the Recover to heal it and kill the infection, which we'll talk about in a second. But already we can use in lieu of like hydrogen peroxide for cleaning it. And then also, if you spray it on after you apply the Recover, it will keep the flies off of that wound to help it heal a little bit better as well.
That's what I was just looking at. That was a big one. I wonder how much you could use that for as a, before cast or, kind of thing. Or maybe when you're at a fox pen and you're at a 3-day and you're staying there overnight, you know, you don't, all those other dogs around, I'm sure that would be a big help is what it sounds like as far as keeping flies.
Because it works well as a fly spray. Is it as inexpensive as going out to Tractor Supply and buying a pyrethrum-based fly spray that you would get for horses? Absolutely not. But you also can't spray that stuff right in a dog's eyeball. And let's face it, on a dog, what are the areas of the dog's body that get most irritated and affected by flies? It's going to be their eyes and their face and their mouth.
Yep.
And that's where they already can come in handy if you're in a situation where you just don't want them to be comfortable. Because obviously, the more comfortable they are while they're resting, the more they're going to be running.
Better going to be. That's right. That's right. So this if you're treating a wound, this is the first thing you would be spraying.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is, like you said, this is the cleaning property. This is the cleaning agent. This is what knocks out the any kind of quick. Like you said, like a hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah,
it's just going to clean it all out. It's going to make it all clean and ready to go. So then after that, you would move over to the Recover.
The Recover. And Recover, I'm telling you guys, it's more expensive than Blue Coat and the other stuff that you guys have tried before.
Right.
But from somebody that experiences dogs that get torn up by mountain lions that got 7-day-old elk meat in their teeth, or getting clawed by a bear, or even horses with barbed wire, or whatever. I have never in my lifetime seen a wound spray kill infection from the inside out better than the Recover. We don't get proud flesh, that rotten flesh that kind of flakes around. There's a lot of cases, even if I know you guys do a lot of stitching and a lot of stapling, but we've got some, they're like, if you get a big cut on a horse's face, there's nothing to stitch. It's so tight.
Right. Yeah.
And we've got some situations where we've had a horse with a gash on the side of his face from a dressed horseshoe that's 6 inches wide, and all we did was treat with the Rebalance and the Recover, and in 3 months there's not even a scar.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. Wow. What the biggest thing with it is it has colloidal silver in it.
Yes.
Colloidal silver is a antibacterial. It's like an antibiotic. So it's going to kill any bacteria on contact.
Gotcha.
All the other products on the market seal off that wound and protect it from the outside, but they do not do anything to fight the infection that might already be in there. And that's where you get bit by a coyote, you get bit by a lion, get clawed by a bear. Chances are that's a wild animal. They're going to have some bacteria.
It's going to be
in
nasty.
Their mouth or on their feet or what, you know what I mean? We need to be fighting that infection on contact. And then obviously the Rebalance, we want to be treating with the Rebalance orally. Not in all cases, but it's going to help improve to make sure that we're not getting any infection in the bloodstream.
Right. And the Rebalance is what we talked about earlier. That was part of that Lyme tick-borne disease, treatment. Right. So this is pretty much, I think most everybody would kind of get the hint, but this is a souped-up Blue Coat. Is pretty much what it sounds like.
It's a Blue Coat that instead of just being a sealant, it's going to actually kill the bacteria too.
Kill the bacteria. Right.
And unlike blue, like literally, you can have a big gash in the side of a dog's leg. You're going to take 2 sprays morning and night. You're going to treat 4 wounds before you even notice that the bottle's getting empty.
Wow.
I mean, it goes, you know what I mean? It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah. You can be kind of easy with it, kind of deal. Understood. Now, this is the one you don't want to get anywhere near the eyes, though. Correct.
Yeah, yes. And it will work great on you too. But I'll tell you what, it's going to burn the head. I mean, it hurts. It doesn't tickle.
You're going to know.
You're going to know. But I have never had a customer come back to me and tell me the Recover didn't work. We had a guy. We had a bear dog guy up in Wisconsin. I met at the Wisconsin Bear Hunters Convention. The the week before he had a dog that I don't even know what it did, but his toe was basically just hanging on there.
Right.
With a little hunk of
Yes.
flesh. He got that recover, and that was the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
The second week of May, he sent me pictures every 2 weeks. But the second week of May, you couldn't even tell that there was anything wrong.
That's awesome.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, he assumed that he was going to have to just cut the toe off and let the dog go. Unless toe. But I said, try this, and he still doesn't believe it. You know what I mean?
And I know, as far as all dogs, you talk about that tight skin, and then this is, I'm sure, the coon and bear and all the other dogs have it too, but the legs on our dogs the skin is so freaking tight. Oh, yeah. So tight. And I mean, you're talking when you have a wound on a leg, like I got one that's fighting a gash, and and that skin is so tight, you can't really sew it up. You can't really do anything much with it, and especially depending on where you hit it. So that spray would be absolutely perfect for those situations right there.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to have to be. I haven't got to experiment with that yet. As something I definitely need to get.
That's a good thing. You don't want to have to experience gashes in your dog on a very regular basis.
Yeah, I need to definitely. I need to be trying that already because one of the pens we run every other week is mainly a soybean field in the front end. So that right there, give them a little hit before they go out. That would be the trick right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even after, and give them a hit once they get back from it too, before the second day, because that's where they're going to get torn up. And it's not so bad this time of the year, but it's in the fall. Whenever those bean fields are ready to harvest, but they haven't been harvested yet, and you know what they're like. I mean, they just tear the hell out of a dog's face.
Right, exactly. So the next product I really want to hit, and this is one that I was super, super impressed with on a couple different situations. This is the Tough Paw. I'll let you kind of talk about it. And
go ahead and tell me your experience first. So you probably have more first-hand experience than I do because that's a brand new product.
Right. So when I saw it, with our field is burnt pads are a big worry in our field. Everybody jokes, oh, you won't have burnt pads if you stay off the road. Well, yes, for the most part, you are correct. But these dogs are absolutely getting for 5 hours. So and it's been dry. You get a dry pen and these beat down paths that these foxes and coyotes will run, you're practically running a road, running these beat down paths, and if it's dry, pads can be a problem. So before this 2 weeks of rain that we had a bad, probably almost 2 month stretch where we barely got any rain. And I had a dog that burnt a little spot on its foot. It was the only time that I'd had anything in that period, but he did. He burnt a spot off on his foot. And usually, the old school guys say burn them off, run them off, run them back in kind of thing, which is great. It makes them tough. But I was prepping for a hunt. I didn't have time for that process to happen. So I ordered the Tough Paw, got the Tough Paw in, and started working on that on that burn off spot about a day after it burned off. Okay. By the 7th day, the pad was completely back to normal, and the dog was running again.
Good deal.
Completely back to normal. I mean, it just healed that. I've never seen any foot product work as fast and efficient as it did. So not only do you have the healing products, and I don't know if it's even meant for that, but it healed that foot so fast. I was so impressed by it. I said, okay. And the foot felt better. Like that pad that I worked on, I isolated it down to just that pad that it was burnt. And I said, okay, for the hunt, I'm going to prep these dogs the whole week before. Every dog that's going to this hunt, every day, I'm going to go while I feed and while I'm prepping these dogs and, taking care of them, all that kind of stuff, I'm going to put that stuff on their pads. And not a single dog that I had any feet problems all weekend long. And I'm talking, I ran, how many did we run? Ran 6. I ran 9 dogs this past weekend, 3 days, 2 different pens. And Not a single foot problem, not even a splinter. You know, you can tell when a dog's getting ready to, or you can tell when a dog is, if you look at the pads real close, you can tell that dog is, okay, that pad was about to start doing something.
Yeah.
None of that. They don't look like, as far as pads go, they don't look like they've ran a single day. So it was a home run for me on my end.
And that product is probably the one, not that it isn't, but that product was specifically, like, I wanted that product created specifically for you guys and my guys that are running coyotes on the outside. One, because I know your situation with the dryness, they get those pads torn up. I've seen guys have seen it. I've seen guys or heard guys complain about it. And the other thing is for my guys on the outside that are running coyotes in the wintertime, the ice just tears the heck out of their pads. And that product is designed for you guys specifically. It is meant to be that prep where it's going to keep more hydration in that pad to keep that pad more flexible so it doesn't get torn up, but it also works very, very well at healing that pad up very quickly as well. What you used it for is 100% the reason why we came out with it, because of that. The naming of it was one that was kind of humorous one time. Anytime you have the word pad in there, for the people that weren't dog people on our team, whenever I would throw out something with the name pad on it, they just giggled.
Right.
They were thinking it was some kind of other pad.
Right.
We settled on Tough Paw instead of something.
I like Tough Paw. I ain't gonna lie, that's a good name. I like it. And it did. It worked exactly, how y'all designed it. It worked perfectly for it. And I'm gonna have guys on here that are listening and say, well, if a dog ain't got tough feet, I don't want it. That's perfectly fine. But you can have the toughest damn feet in the world, and if it's 105 degrees for 3 weeks straight and no rain, I don't care what kind of dog you have, it's gonna have a chance to burn its paws.
Yeah.
It's gonna 110%
or come up here in the winter and run coyotes at 60 miles a day on ice.
Right.
At 15 mile an hour.
Right. And it's in the way that paws feel to me, it's a very a lot of times a pad can get really, really tough. And a tough pad is okay, but it's to me, a tough pad has always been one that burns off real quick. It's easier to...
It's not like we're giving them a pedicure and they're looking all cute and cuddly.
Right.
We're making that pad be flexible so it can do what nature intended it to do.
Yep. It has that little bit of extra elasticity in it.
Yep, that's a good word, elasticity. Yep.
It gives just enough, give, but it's still tough enough where it doesn't tear. It lets it blend with the ground, lets it blend with its environments around it, but it doesn't tear. That's where I was like, man, this is. I mean, you can just feel. You can push on the paw and it bends with it, but you could take and scrape it with your nails or something like that, and nothing happens. You just slide right over it.
That guy out there that's into breeding pink padded dogs, he's all getting excited now. Maybe he can.
I bet. I bet. And it's one of the things too, and it's funny you mentioned that. And I've got a dog that I've on the back end of its toe pads is, and I'm glad you said that, because people think I'm crazy when you say, you start putting that stuff on there, and it turns into a like a liquidy kind of feel. It's almost like, it reminds me of the Tough Hands ointment, like a lot of your guys, your tradesmen put on their hands to keep their hands kind of halfway decent. But you put it on them paws, and it emphasizes the color of their pads. And it was funny to me, and you may think I'm crazy, people may think I'm crazy, but the ones that started off with that pinker area, that softer area towards the back end of the toes, they got darker.
Oh, really?
They get darker as I continued to give it. So I don't know if that even makes any sense. But to me, it looked like that darkness, that toughness, kind of faded more into the pinker side.
Yeah.
It was wild. It was wild to watch.
That's pretty crazy.
And I have some before and after pictures. I've been meaning to post them, but I have some before and after pictures of that spot on that 1 foot. It's literally 7 days later. I'll have to post them. But it was something I've been thoroughly impressed with.
That's pretty good.
So another one, and I don't know anything about this, and I want to see what exactly this is. I've seen it a couple times. I didn't know what it was for, what it even is even used for. But the all-purpose drawing ointment.
Yeah,
what
so
is that, and what is this
all-purpose drawing ointment? Obviously, that's designed for horses. It's a drawing salve. I mean, it will pull abscesses out of a horse's feet or whatever. I was using it a lot on pads until we came out with Tough Paw.
Okay.
But where it still has application is, as well as I do, you get embedded thorns, you get sticks, and you get a stick in a dog's mouth. I mean, it's not really going to work in the mouth, but you get stick in a dog's side or whatever, and you pull it out, and it just continues to fester or whatever. It's going to actually pull out whatever that foreign body is in that animal, whether it's a thorn, whether it's a stick, whatever. I just had a situation here close to home. A guy, he was treated with rebalance and recover. It was in a horse. That wound went down. A week later, it was back up and it was pussing again. Did the same thing over and over again. Finally told him put the drawing ointment on there. In 3 days, he pulled a stick out of there about an inch long. It drew it out of that, and that was. It was in there festering, and that was what was causing that wound to not be able to heal up. So that's what that product is intended for. So in the dog world, whenever you get embedded sticks, which sometimes happens, and then also thorns certainly do happen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And thorns are a lot easier to tell. It's going to be tough for a long-coated retriever or something like that to really use, but on those short-coated dogs that you guys are running, it's going to work pretty effective because you're going to know where to apply it at that point in time. Right. And while we're at it, so that's a horse product that we're using off-label. Now let's touch base. There's a few other products that I'll touch base on that would be horse products that you guys can use off-label situationally to help heal the healing process. Okay. 3 of them are sprays, sprays that are. One is called Tranquility. That's going to be a cooling spray. So if you guys get a fresh injury, it's going to take that heat out. Whenever you're trying to get it to heal. The Quicken is going to be a warming spray. So this is going to add heat back to that. If you got a dog with a sore back or something like that, it's going to. It's deeply penetrating, get into the muscle and help that muscle to loosen up. And then the last one is the Frequency. And the Frequency is like an activator spray. So that's going to be, if you're treating a dog's knee, you're treating a dog, whatever it is that's sore on a dog, if you spray that Frequency on it, it's going to increase the blood flow to that area to help it heal quicker. They're not going to be our best sellers in the dog world, but if you've got that one where you got a pretty good injury that would be a tendon or a ligament or something like that you really you're not going to do surgery on it isn't totally torn. It's going to speed up that process a little bit. Where I use it a lot on mine is sore back. Like there's times where I just can tell that he went too hard, he got a sore back. Spray that Frequency spray down his spine, and it kind of loosens up those muscles and helps that back to heal up quicker.
Interesting. And I want to kind of pick your brain on this all-purpose drawing ointment. So
go ahead.
I want to see if this is maybe something that's comparable to it, or maybe y'all have another product that maybe we're overlooking that maybe is. I know I've been using it at a lot of my hunts, especially after the first day. What I'll do is I'll take, and I think you have some familiarizations with the horse world. It's called Ice Tight. It's a paste that is, it's got liniment in it, and it's supposed to draw out a lot of those thorns and stuff like that. That's our idea behind using that is that process. We do from ankle all the way up and wrap it up, let it sit for a couple hours, and then spray it off.
So you're using it to try to draw out thorns is your purpose?
That's kind of the thought.
That's exactly what it would be for. Now, if you're looking for, you're putting on the leg and you're wrapping it up and you're looking for muscle recovery or something like that, that's where you want to use our performance liniment. Like that's got DMSO, the silver. Like that's what we're going to use on a bowed tendon for a horse, or where we're trying to heal up that. But if you're using that product that you just mentioned for pulling thorns out, absolutely, that's what the drawing salve is. And it's like if you use it on yourself,
right,
you're gonna feel that not suck. It's gonna draw hard.
Yeah. Right, makes sense. Now is that size? I think I saw what was the size on that?
I forget.
10-ounce container.
It's gonna last you a very long. Well, if you're putting all the way up and down the dog's leg, it's not gonna. But if you were just, doing one little spot, it's gonna last a very long time. I mean, even going up,
I guess that was my
going
question.
up and down the leg, I would say you'll probably do every leg on a dog. One dog, you could probably do it 20 times with.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
It's going to have that same consistency that the Tough Paw does.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was the kind of where I wanted to see about how long it would last in that kind of situation. I may have to do some experiment with that. And the liniment's huge. What is that? What is the liniment that you're talking about?
It's called just Elite Performance Liniment.
Okay.
And the other nice thing about it is it will not cause any blistering. So you can wrap it up tight. It will be work. And again, you don't need a lot. It's got DMSO. It's got the silver. Very, very deep penetrating, but just a couple squirts. You don't have to drench the leg like you do with some other liniments. It's going to work real well. One thing I will tell you on any of those sprays, the frequency, the tranquility, the quicken, the liniment, don't do them after, not right before.
Okay.
Because it's going to give them that tingly.
Yeah. It's now time for the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights. This is where each week we will recognize winners and other accomplishments across the field trial world. Now let's shine a light on these guys and these dogs, and let's get to this week's winners. All right, on this week for the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights, we're going to be looking at 2 hunts. I think that was the only 2 hunts that we had this weekend that I seen. We're going to start off with the Masters Breeders' Cup East, and that was held at 95 Fox Run. Start off with the Best of Mouth, and that is BB's Big Mac. That dog's out of Adams Mad Max and Adams Little Mama from Landslide Kennels. Excuse me. The classiest hound for that hunt was Sandy Mills Yellowstone. That dog's out of Champions Jason Hank R. and Jason's Dolly. And that dog's out of Sandy Mill Kennels. The combination winner was B&B Bubbles. And that dog's out of Sire of the Year champion B&B Chrome and B&B Jet from B&B Kennels. And the winner of the Breeders' Cup East was Evan El Toro Loco. Excuse me, I'm going to Monster Trucks. My son's been watching way too much Monster Jam. Evan El Toro Big Block. And that dog's out of G Vegas Black Diamond and Tyler's Boots from El Toro Kennels. The Mid-South Masters was at Triple B this week. The Derby class, we're going to start with the Best Mouth again. And that dog's name was Nelly. The dog's out of SNA Carter Finley and SNA Tina Turner from BCP Kennels. The classiest hound was Commission's Chuck. That's a lot of words going on. Commission's Chuck. The dog's out of Champion Maple Roads Pilot J and SNA Latte from the Commission. The winner of the Derby class was Maple Roads Holly. And the dog's out of Champion Maple Roads Pilot J and CT's TikTok from Maple Road Kennels. Sorry for the butchering there. My apologies, guys. And the All Age, the Best Mouth belonged to Paget's Donald, and that dog's out of Paget's Overdrive and Paget's Daisy from Paget Kennels. The classiest hound was a dog named Bonds Lily. That dog's out of Crisco's Wild Boy and SNN's Lady Man from Triple B Kennels. And the field and combination winner of the hunt was a dog called High Cotton Baby Hank. The dog's out of B&B's Hank T and champion B&B's Lexi from High Cotton Kennels. So we are going to end this episode now, guys. I know some guys don't really may hate ending the episodes, like sound like it's splitting the episode. But we're gonna come back next week, and we're gonna talk on, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're gonna talk on puppy products. We're gonna talk on brood products. We're gonna talk on whelping products. That's a lot in that. So y'all be sure to tune in next week. And then after that, I got some cool stuff in store for y'all guys. I'm really excited to get this next guest on, and but I won't spoil it for y'all. So, all right, guys, thank y'all so much for listening. I really do appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the kind words for the past 2 episodes with Lake Hills. That one was an honor to do for sure. So, thank y'all guys so much. And like always, guys, happy hunting.